right, welcome back. It's the Cup Chasers podcast, and it is the one. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. It's been on everyone's calendar for a while now, and Arsenal have let it slip so that it is indeed the Premier League final. If you're as excited as we are, smash the likes up. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You know we'll have a reaction video when this one is done, so get that notification bell on as well. It's the biggest game of the season, guys.
Biggest game of the season.
Comes down to this. I know there are games after, and we can talk about the difficulties after Wednesday.
Newcastle game looks scary right now. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Bro.
But it's also
Yeah.
very. It pales in comparison to how
Oh yeah, most definitely it does. It
Oh,
does.
absolutely.
the hat is. And I want to start this segment by saying, last time Arsenal beat City in the league, do we know who the lone goal scorer was? And it was the first year of City's, reign of terror, as it were, in these past 10 years. That should give you a hint. What's my favorite jersey?
Is it
RVP?
Robin Van Persie?
Who was the captain
Is
while
it RVP?
in the 11-12?
No.
Who was the club captain of Arsenal in 2011, 2012? Hint.
Years old? No.
Again.
Who?
Is it Rambo?
No, he's at the helm these days.
It was Arteta.
Mikel Arteta with a Thunder
No way.
Arsenal League victory over
No
Manchester
way.
City in 2012.
Nice.
Yes, they went on to win the league, but Arsenal beat them. Granted, it was at the Emirates. I don't think we've won at City in like 17 league games, something dumb. But here's
you're
another stat.
0-1. You're due one.
Here's another stat for you. The last 3 times Arsenal have won the
All
league.
right.
The last 3 times Arsenal have won the league. In 1989, we won it at the main title rivals, Anfield. In 2002, we won it at the main title rivals, Old Trafford. And in 2004, although Tottenham weren't the main title rivals, we did win the league at Tottenham. So when Arsenal win leagues, we win it at rival grounds. So I'm hopeful. There, as Lewis was saying earlier about history, there is some history here that could be in our favor if we look quite far back. If we look far back to at least 10 years ago.
The history is, man. Yeah, you
So
just gotta.
Yeah, but City's history is all in the last 10 years.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I can't really talk much either. So is ours.
Yeah, that's not to
the
say.
last 20 for Chelsea, if you think about it.
Hmm?
Yeah,
It's
beginning.
about
of
the
Roman.
last 20 for Chelsea, if you think
Yeah,
about
it's
it.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Kind of-
08.
Roman came in right when Arsenal won. We were invincible. Then we won the FA Cup the next year. Went to the Champions League.
It's the 08, 05.
Those are the good old days.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Back when you could actually kick somebody and get away with it.
I'm scared about this one. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it's like it goes back to that video that I sent you guys. If you had told every player in the Prem that you have one game, you have one game, you win this, you win the title, or it sets you up to do so, to win the title, all you have to do is finish out strong. I don't think there's a player at any club that wouldn't say, yeah, let's line it up. We'll take on, best of, it's going to be, and you have to treat this like a final. I think both teams know this. I think City's going to treat it like a final. They're going to come out full strength, full force. And Arsenal, I'm worried. The only part I'm worried about for Arsenal is what Lewis said. If they get smacked early by City, they'll have a different mindset than getting smacked early by South. They still, like you said, they didn't take Southampton serious, even though they smacked them early. It's like, oh, Southampton, we'll score our goals. Like, we can score in 3 minutes. All we got to do is play. You can't, you get smacked early by City. It's, oh, we have 90 minutes of grueling work to do to peel this back.
Don't get twisted. It's 90 minutes of grueling work.
In any way. Right. I'm saying the mindset that you're going to have to be in, I just hope there's not an early goal against you guys. I want it to go 0-0 for as long as it can, to leave that something to play for mindset with you guys, because Patrick hit the nail on the head. Maturity is what's really starting to show here at this final run-in. And if you get smacked early by City, knowing the Sharks behind you, like the meme you sent us, like knowing it's right here daunting on you guys. And it's like, oh my God, now they've surpassed us, or now that gives them the lead, that gives them the points they need. That's just not what you want early on in that game. And that's my only fear about it. Otherwise, I'm excited for it. It is a final. I think it's going to be an amazing game back and forth. The goals, I hope, are going to be not just, you can always have to give Holland his credit. He's going to monster in front of goal. He might get an easy cross from Grealish. Tap in Merchant, right? But I would hope that the goals aren't that. I hope it's more like what we saw when City came out in the Champions League, barring one or two of those against Bayern, where it's just bangers, typical Saka or Martinelli goal, just cut in, make a nice move, slot the goal the way you need to. I'm excited, man. It's just anything can happen here. Holland might not score. You have the defense to keep him off of it.
Holland's going to score.
Yeah, Holland's going to score.
I don't know, man.
He's going to put that defense in knots.
Tony's already got a bet in.
The only reason Holland didn't score in the last game is because he let Mahrez take the penalty. That's the only reason he didn't score, because he was going to score in every game. But I want to hear Patrick's rant about the league. I'm curious.
It's not about this. It's
I actually am. I am.
But is it related? Is it kind of related?
It sort of is. Well, but it's more league related than anything. Trust me, I'll give it to you, because I'm not going to give it here because I don't want to take away from the moment. But I do want to say this. I am concerned about Arsenal defense against Holland. I think the midfield will be fine. I think Xhaka, Partey, they're going to give it their all. I think the up front's going to be great, because they are. But I really, really worry about Holland versus Gabriel, and what is it, Rob Holding?
It'll be Holding. So Saliba's nowhere near the team.
I mean, he bossed Gabriel last time out. And he had the help.
Cup.
Huh?
Holding was decent in the FA Cup. He took that yellow and had to come off, but
that's true.
He tried to WWE with old Holland. He tried it.
But I mean, that's my biggest concern for Arsenal. I think everybody else will be fine, but I really worry about that back line against Holland. And honestly, it would be the concern against anyone against Holland, because he's just that big of a beast back there, up there, up front. I think though that this has potential to be an absolute classic. I think that it'll be interesting to see the tactical approaches by both managers. How does Pep decide to attack Arteta? We talked about that with the FA Cup. How's he going to come out? He knows Arteta. He taught him, Of course, Arteta knows Pep, but Pep has shown this year that he's willing to be flexible. He's willing to tinker and whatnot. So I'm interested to see what does Arteta do from the previous matchup, because honestly, while it was 3-1, if it wasn't for the Tomiyasu screw up to allow KDB to get that first goal, it was kind of back and forth there for a good bit. And then it turned into Arsenal really kind of taking some control there. And then Bernardo Silva just frustrated everybody. That's what he does. And I meant to mention,
He does that.
He does that. And I meant to mention this on the previous part about Arsenal. But the book is out. You got to frustrate them. You frustrate them, they get off their game. I mean, if you think about it, there are multiple teams who have gone and frustrated Arsenal. Bernardo Silva did it by himself.
But Pep's not like that. Pep doesn't have to play.
Well, no.
Pep doesn't have to concentrate. City are the only team in the league that do not have to concentrate on the opponent. It doesn't matter who City plays. They're going to come to smash them. We were talking about it in the last pod. City are going to come out. They're going to play the way they play, and they're going to put it on us. And we're going to have to deal with that. Now, to your point, and Lewis asked me about what do we do? What do we change? To kind of shore up what happened from last game. And, to your point about the defensive line, I think that, like I say, Rob Holding was decent in the FA Cup. If you look at 3 of the last 4 times Arsenal have played City, on a different day, Arsenal could have won 3 of them. Yes, last season's game at the Etihad, we took like a 5-0 or 4-0 or something. But the game at the Emirates, if Martinelli scores to make it 2-0, 30 seconds before Gabriel's red card, it's a completely different game. Completely different game. We're up 2-0 and Gabriel doesn't take a red. And we potentially go on and win that game that they had to fight tooth and nail to win. The game in the FA Cup, we were arguably the better team with half a squad, and Ake scored their goal that won the
Yeah, I
game.
remember that.
And in the game at the Emirates, we just mistakes. That's what we've been doing. That's how we've been giving goals all season.
Yeah.
Not many goals that we have given this year have been because of some blinding, brilliant play from the other team.
Yeah.
Right.
Very few goals have been where they've just passed it through us, cut us apart, and destroyed us completely defensively. It's been because we've made crap errors.
Breakdown of defensive
Yeah.
mistakes.
And so in
That's
both
what
games
Doctor
this season, there's an argument to be made that we, like you say, Patrick, we were level with them, maybe even the better team across the 90, despite the scoreline. So, yeah, I think, one, to answer your question, Lewis, we don't play Fabio Vieira. That's sure. If Granit Xhaka's healthy, he's in there. If not, it must be Trossard. Must. 100% has to be. And I heard it on one of the on AFTV's interview of one of the fans outside the stadium after Southampton, and it's something that when Chelsea played Madrid, they did. You could see it, and when Bayern played City in the second leg of the Champions League, you could see the desperation in the way they were fighting for the ball. From the word go, Bayern were coming at them.
Yep.
Chelsea were coming in the second leg of the Madrid game. Remember, I texted you guys. I was like, "Why have Chelsea not played like this all season?" They were coming at Madrid, 100%.
Well,
And Arsenal we must absolutely hunt like wild, rabid animals for 90 plus minutes. We need to be in their face. Now, City have not lost the game. Y'all have lost once at the Etihad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it to Everton?
It was to no, it was a draw to Everton. It was
Oh,
to
that was a
Brentford.
draw to Everton.
It was to Brentford. It was to
Brentford.
Brentford. But the game, there was another game that I want to highlight. You should have lost to Villa. You should have lost the game to Aston Villa.
Yeah.
VAR robbed Villa of the win that day. But the way they approached that game was high octane, in your face. Yes, they brought knives and hatchets and swords and battle axes and absolutely
that
were
was the
kicking in.
Stevie G days, baby. Yeah, they had.
What did Newcastle do? Dan Burn and Erling Haaland were about to get in the ring and go 9 rounds. So we need to absolutely come to the Etihad, not be afraid for one, and blanket, suffocating press. That is what's going to win this game. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter the personnel. We can talk all the tactics we want. We can talk about mismatches. We can talk about Haaland is going to run over this guy and that guy because he's run over everyone in the league. Fine. Comes down to 90 minutes. It comes down to a heart, a passion, and a fire to actually go out and do something you've been dreaming about your whole life.
Yep.
Now's the time. Now's the time. Right here. Yes, all of England, all the world, even Arsenal fans, even the content creators, we're all saying, "Oh man, it's gone. We've thrown it away. It's this, it's that." But at the end of the day, when we look back on this season, we've gone from 5th to the title challenger this season. Yes, okay, we're overachieving. And yes, we've made Champions League. With Spurs lost today, statistically, Arsenal are in the Champions League next season. Awesome. You see how I'm not celebrating it all because our hopes are up. You've gotten our hopes there. And so now is the time for all Arsenal fans in the next 3 days to scream to the rooftops, from the rooftops to the heavens, we can do this. Ted Lasso, we have to believe. We have to slap the sign as we go out the door. Every single Arsenal fan must get behind this team right here, right now, and believe, because that's the only way we're going to win this title. I've been saying it. If we win this title, it will be absolutely magnificent. And look, at the end of the day, we've worked, we've pushed, we've pressed, we've harried, we've worked so hard. We've been at the top. These guys have worked their whole lives for this moment. But you know what? You know what the truth of life is? That only gets you to the table.
Yep.
Because KDB has worked his whole life for this.
Yep.
Holland has worked his whole life for this. Pep has worked his whole life for a season like this. To win a third straight league and win a treble, yeah, they want it just as bad as we do. So all this work, everything we've done, has just gotten us to the table.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a chance. And that's all that we can ask for. So at the end of the day, all this negativity from the Arsenal fans, cut it out. Because for 20 years, we've been baying, been crying out to be right where we are.
Yep.
To be right where we are. And we're here. It's time. We must.
Yep.
You know, an interesting thing is I'm glad I listened to you all because I mean, I would have had similar points to your points, but I think the most important thing, and I'll just say what I didn't hear. When I was looking at the result of the game, when I saw Southampton up 3-1, I was doing math because, while I think I'm decent at math, I like math. I was like, well, if Arsenal loses this game, City don't even have to beat them because they didn't. At that point, if they lost that game, they wouldn't even have to have beat them.
Right.
And so now, because they've drawn, math again, and I know again it's as the tactician, as the talker is talking up your team. City still, there are 3 results that this game can have. You can win, you can lose, you can draw. 2 of the results, City is still in the driver's seat. 2 of them, because City can draw this game, they have 2 games in hand, and they'll win the league. They can win the game, and then, well, it's very likely over. And they can lose, and because of the way City functions, it's still not over. So for City, it's a very interesting perspective in the sense of the result that we were talking, the VAR result, that they could have and should have lost. I agree, but then I think about, but that City team, if they played this City team now, they would wash them. This City team now would wash that City team. If we go back to the FA Cup game when we played Arsenal and well, both of the games, City would wash both of those teams that played Arsenal tight. And a thing that really is important, and I think this benefits Manchester City mentality-wise, and at least prepares them, is that in the games that they've recently had to play, when they got put in the knockout round of the Champions League, they said, we don't care who we play. And that was the best thing that could happen to them in the run-in, because they just played, they would put 3 on Bayern Munich, History FC. Now they're legit because they win, but History FC. They put 3 on them and absolutely knew Bayern was coming for them in the next game. They knew. And City, and I'm going to give Pep credit because you guys mentioned it before. Pep adapted. He said, yeah, this guy, he's beaten me a bunch of times. People said he has my number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch him in the face in the first game, which he did. They have wingers. They're so fast, you're not going to be able to deal with them. Okay, gotcha. 3-0. Then they go there and they know they're coming. And they played them and let them have the ball. And as soon as they got chances, they scored. And so looking at all those past things matter. But then if you look at their form and look at who they had to play to get where they are, to go for the the legendary status that they're looking to have. 3 league titles in a row, not done since the biggest history FC team in England ever. And to win a treble, which is also owned by that same history FC team that they get to beat as a part of that treble. There's no way. There's no way that anybody wearing this blue shows up at that game and doesn't know that every single game they play is a final. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. And the thing about it is if you looked at the sideline in the game they played against in the FA Cup, not one guy who was a normal starter that was sitting on the bench was smiling. Not one. They wanted to play. Every one of them wanted to be on the field. And that hunger, they can't wait to get on the field and play. And I think Arsenal is going to bring their A game because they have to. Because if they don't,
it'll be bad news.
It will be. And so I respect the Arsenal team, but I think the biggest thing is Pep Guardiola respects every team that he plays. He knew going into the Bayern fixture, into the Bayern draw, that Tuchel got the best of him the last few times. He knew that going in. I'm going to respect him. They're talking about, well, United is that. I respect them too. He goes in with a respect because if I respect what you do, then I'm playing to find your weakness and my strength and use your weakness as my strength. So if I know that your heart is beating like this in a moment that it should be beating like this, then I'm gonna make sure I keep your heart there. So Bernardo Silva, you go get those tactical fouls all over the field. Haaland, go run that guy over a couple of times. Get yourself one yellow. Do whatever. Grealish, you know how you can get on under guys' skin? Go do that.
Yeah.
Every single one of those guys are going to be there for those things. And I mean, obviously we're going to do predictions. I don't know if it's today, but we're going to do predictions. Obviously, I'm going to pick City to win. I'm not going to pretend like I'm not going to pick them to win. But I understand that a draw is also an acceptable result. And I'm totally okay with that, which means you're kind of playing with house money. But the true house money is I'm gonna take all of your money. I don't want what you have there. I want all of it. But I'm excited. I'm really excited about Wednesday. I think I agree with Patrick. I think it could be a classic. I really do think it could be.
Well, we'll kick it off with you. What's your prediction?
I mean, I haven't seen them like destroy anybody, but I think I think they get a goal. I think it's 2-1. Blue side of Manchester.
I've actually predicted the same score, but in reverse. Actually, no, I was thinking it'd be 3-2 because I don't know how we're gonna keep y'all out. So I'm saying 3-2 to the Arsenal. Gotta back the boys.
Yeah, you must pick your team. I understand.
What do we think, Patrick?
I'm going with your same scoreline, but for the blue side. 3-2 to City. I think it's an 85th minute winner for City.
Oh, a dagger blow, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Just heartbreak. Anything else to add?
Well, no, I mean not much, but I really am interested to see the mentality of Arsenal, especially if they get down. We've seen them come back. We've seen them have some resolve, but this is a totally different animal now. You're talking about a team. You were talking about the FA Cup and the game at the Emirates. The City we're seeing now is not those cities. They're running on all cylinders. So if y'all pull this off, I mean, stand up, applaud, standing ovation for Arteta and this team. I can't go against Pep. I mean, there's part of me that's like, does he tinker with it too much, like he did against Chelsea in the Champions League final? And you're just like, what are you thinking, dude?
No way. It's gonna be.
But
the
I
same.
don't see
It's just like what Lewis
It's
said.
gonna be the same.
It's just like what Lewis said after that third. So the Champions League final was the third time he had lined up against Tuchel. I think Tuchel had Pep's heart kind of, running a little fast. Like, how do I beat this guy? How do I get this team to beat this And he was kind of in his mind. He had him in his pocket. And Tuchel likes to play that same game. Like once he figures out that you're struggling a little bit, he's going to just press the buttons a little harder every single time. And that's what, like I said, you kind of hit the nail on the head when you were talking about it. This Arsenal team can show their frustration and visibly see it on some of these players because they're young and they are over. I don't want to say overachieving because I think that undermines what's really going on over at Arsenal and what's
you can
being
say
built.
that. You can say we're underachieving.
I don't think it is.
Fifth to first is huge.
They're achieving.
We have achieved. We have achieved. Our goal was to make Champions League. We've done that.
Yeah.
Sure. It's
so what's your score?
I'm going to say 2-1. I want to go 2-1. I'm sorry, Lewis. I'm not going to back City to win the league this many times and have all these cups. I'm not going to do it. I would rather see it come back to London in some sort of way. I want to go 2-1 Arsenal. I really think that they can pull this away.
That's my man
I really think that they can pull this out here. And if they do, that is the propelling moment to close out the rest of the run-in. Everyone needs to hit the low before champions need to see themselves tested. I think what you've gone through is that
momentum from beating City.
I think it's the litmus test to come back from these losses. As y'all I don't think the Anfield result. I think that was a win in of itself to take a point out of Anfield. Sure, I think you got caught in that mindset. Like a point was okay, because that was kind of the mindset you had at Anfield. Like if we go there and we take a point from them, that's fine. We're okay. We have that cushion. And it seems like that mindset just kind of got caught up in the last 2 games. Okay, all we need is a point because we're playing City and we can do sorry to say, Lewis, but I think in a couple of weeks, Chelsea's going to smack y'all too. So it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
I'll have what this man's having.
On
that note, I might just might end the pod for the night.
I think we all need to go to X's house and see what he's got going on over there, because that sounds like fun.
2-1 to the Arsenal.
I like people who back their teams. You know, it is what it is. You know,
I'm never gonna bet against the boys. So, but no, I think I want to see it come to London. If it's anywhere, I want to see it close to home.
Well, if you're as excited as we are, go ahead and smash up the likes. Subscribe to the channel. Get that notification bell on. You know we'll be back when this one's over. Come on, you Gunners.